Hello students, welcome back to the virtual classroom and to the parasitology lecture. Now in previous lecture we have already seen the Plasmodium vivax, or rather we have studied about the Plasmodium species, the different types of Plasmodium species, their history, where you can find these Plasmodium species throughout the world, which of the Plasmodium species is very lethal, which are rare and which are very common. So in that we have seen 4 different types, and in that we are working on, or we will study in detail about the Plasmodium vivax as given in the syllabus. Now we have already seen the Plasmodium completes its life cycle in 2 hosts. Diagenic, it is diagenic, man and female Anopheles mosquito. The female Anopheles mosquito is the actual definitive host, and you can call it as a primary host, whereas the man is the intermediate host. The life cycle of Plasmodium divided into 3 phases. So the first one is the asexual schizogony, then sexual gamogony, and then asexual sporogony. So in today's lecture we will talk about first of all the asexual schizogony. At the same time it starts from the blood meal. So what exactly happens in the asexual schizogony, that we will see. This particular asexual schizogony stage, it is divided, it's an asexual phase. Schizogony is an asexual phase. I will tell you the definition also, what exactly mean by a schizogony. Okay. It takes place in the liver cells first of all, and then in the RBCs of man. So schizogony takes place in 2 phases. Asexual reproduction or asexual schizogony takes place in 2 phases. One phase is in liver and another phase is in RBCs of man. So it can be divided into 4 phases. Remember, very important, 4 phases. First phase is called as pre-erythrocytic schizogony. Now you remember the name like this. Pre-erythrocytic means what? The phase before it enters into the RBC. So before entering into the RBC, it is present in the body of man, but where exactly it goes? So once it enters, it has to go somewhere. So that area will not be the RBC, so it cannot directly enters into the RBC, even though it is injected into our blood capillaries, but it doesn't attacks the RBC directly, but first it goes towards the liver cell, hepatic cells. So this is called as a pre-erythrocytic schizogony. Then there will be exoerythrocytic schizogony. So first whatever it will happen within the liver, then it will come out of the liver, it will be present in the blood, but at that time also something will happen, and this part or this phase is called as exoerythrocytic. So whatever happens outside the RBC, that is called as exoerythrocytic, before the infection to the RBC. Okay. After that you will have the erythrocytic schizogony, means it enters the RBC. So inside the RBC what happens, and after once the inside the RBC the cycle is complete, then the last phase you have, that is called as a post-erythrocytic schizogony. So post-erythrocyte, it comes out of the RBC now, and once it is out of the RBC, then what happens? This we will come to know in asexual schizogony. Now before we should start with this all phases, we should know how exactly the blood sucking takes place. So as we know, mosquito bite us with the help of its mouth part. Now mouth part doesn't have the mandible to bite us, but they do have the piercing, sucking and piercing organs. So what exactly they do, how this piercing takes place, how they suck the blood, and how we are getting infected, this you should know. Okay, so what happens here, first of all, when, as you have seen the mosquitoes, when it is sitting on the skin, at that time it doesn't start, we doesn't feel the mosquito sitting on our skin instantly. it takes some time, and after some time you come to know, okay, mosquito is sitting there. Okay, so what it does at that time, that you should know. So as you can see in the diagram, it piercing and sucking mouth part, it pierce through our skin, go towards the capillaries present below the skin. So it pass through the barriers, whatever sections of the skin are there, it will pass through that, and it will try to search the capillary. As we know, everywhere capillary is not present, so it will try to search the capillary and pierce the capillary. Now for how it happens, that you should know, that it has been proposed, the researchers tell us that it's a double needle, the piercing mouth part. I will show you the diagram also. It's a double needle. One needle pierces the skin and administers the drug or draws the blood, as you can say, or other at the same time. Means, as you can see in the diagram, there are thick covering. First of all, this whole of the covering get pierced through the skin, and within the covering you have two types of needle. One is the needle, or you can say a numbing agent, means that needle actually secretes saliva in that area. Now that saliva contains something which will numb the area, so that we doesn't come to know early that mosquito is biting us. And second needle that actually take up the material. So it is necessary, and that you should know that there are two parts which are present. Okay, so in this diagram, mosquito proboscis is designed very, as you can say, for so many years the evolution has occurred and parasites and have adapted. So if you look at this adaptation, then look at the proboscis of the mosquito, the mouth part of the mosquito. Okay, first of all, it is retractable outer covering. Other than that, it has the blood sucker main area. From blood it sucks the blood, or it takes the meal. Then you have other parts which assist in piercing. Okay, and there is one more part which assists in the saliva secretion also. So it is relatively soft at the tip and on the side, hardening in the part more towards the inside and closer to the head of the mosquito. Okay, now I have taken these diagrams and references from the research paper. Okay, I have given the name of the research paper. So the skin, in that it has been written that the skin clearly suffers less pain from the soft part, whatever it is piercing. Okay, so the mosquito first uses the tip to find a suitable place to pierce. So when a mosquito is sitting, at that time it doesn't start piercing. It will first of all search the area which is the best part where they can pierce through. Okay, then it start piercing. Now the mosquito vibrate its tube. Remember the skin, and then insert the tube with a serrated exterior design. So whatever serrated exterior design is there, it start inserting the skin, and insertion is like vibrating, it kind of drilling, I should say, okay, through the skin. And remember, the outer covering of the skin is somewhat hard, but inside capillaries are not that much hard as compared to the outer skin. So the mosquito vibrate this tube at the frequency about 15 Hertz. Now it has been given in the paper itself. Okay, with the movement less than 0.1 mm, and sawing the skin sounds painful, but the vibration actually makes the penetration easier. Okay, and the pressure needed by the mosquito to the pierced skin is the third of it. So less pressure on the skin means that it deforms less, and the skin nerves emit fewer pain reactions. So this is what they do. Once it is inserted, the proboscis inserted inside the skin. Okay, now mosquito applies a agent, numbing agent, a substance, maybe mixture of protein, so that we should not feel the pain whatever has happened, because our skin is very much sensitive. And then when it will numb that area, and at that time it will inside it will search the capillary, okay, and then uses the vibrating motion again to penetrate the vessel or that capillary, okay. Now at this time again it will be a kind of vibrating penetration, but the frequency will be less, that will be 5 Hz. So initially for the skin it was 15 Hz, and when it is come to the capillary it is 5 Hz. Once in the skin, mosquito has to overcome the greater resistance, okay. So rapid vibration is therefore not possible, but there is a necessity, okay, because the wall of the vessel is much more softer, as I have told you. Once the vessel inside, it begins to draw the blood, okay. So this is what happens piercing. Now during the piercing, as we know, saliva is also secreted inside. At the same time blood is taken up, saliva is mixed in the blood. Now through the saliva the infection takes place. So when blood is taking up, or we can say the blood meal is going on, at that time itself the saliva is also secreted within the blood, and because of that it is getting mixed in the blood. Now this was about the piercing mouth parts and how the mosquito sucks the blood. Now before we should start with the two things, before we should start with the infecting Plasmodium sporozoite, first of all I should discuss about the Plasmodium trophozoite, okay. So as you can see in the diagram, there is one blood smear of Plasmodium vivax trophozoite, and there is actual diagrammatic representation. So what this trophozoite is exactly? So trophozoite structure, first you should know that the parasite is parasites are present in the red blood cells, or they infect the red blood cells in humans. So it occurs in the form of mature adult. So mature adult form is the trophozoite structure, okay. So Plasmodium species also infect vertebrate hosts like reptile, birds and mammals, but Plasmodium utilizes oxygen. Why RBC? Why they require RBC? Because they utilizes oxygen for satisfying its glucose dependent energy producing metabolic requirement. It continuously requires the oxygen and get it through the RBC. So trophozoite has a high glucose requirement, which is obtained by modulating cell membrane by creating pores in it, okay. So trophozoite, what it is exactly? So a mature adult parasite, amoeboid in structure, unicellular, okay, and it has a granular and vacuolated cytoplasm. So if you look at the cytoplasm, we will discuss the ultrastructure of trophozoite. So granular, the whole of the cytoplasm is granulated, and at the same time vacuoles are also present. The granular mainly of hemozoin pigment. From where hemozoin you are getting the hemozoin? I will tell you that. So hemozoin pigment is there. So first of all, Graham in 1966 and Rudzinska in 1969 studied the ultrastructure of trophozoite in electron microscope, and they found out, first of all we will start with the double membrane, outer membrane. So it is made up of plasmolemma, double membrane called plasmolemma as shown in figure, which is closely applied to the cytoplasm. So double membrane closely applied to the cytoplasm. What things are present? As this is a unicellular, means one cell, it is one cell. The whole cell is an organism, and whole cell will have several things. So first of all, after plasmolemma, you have the smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum, okay, and it will have a variable shapes and sizes. As you can see in the diagram, it will have a variable shapes and sizes. Cytoplasm contains, it is totally dotted as you can see. So it contains the particles containing ribonucleoproteins. Ribonucleoproteins means what? ribonucleosomes. It's a part of molecular biology, but still you should know. Okay, there are ribosomes, and there is a ribosomes combined with the RNA, and when they combine, at the same time protein synthesis also takes place. So ribonucleosomes are required for the translation of RNA. So many ribonucleosomes may be present within the cytoplasm. Then mitochondria containing the peripheral cristae, okay, with the central structureless regions are present. So cristae are there, mitochondria with peripheral cristae are observed in the diagram. The Golgi complex are there in the form of small vesicle arranged in rows. So as you can see, as compared to the mitochondria, you can see the Golgi complexes with vesicles very small. Okay, so as you can see in the diagram, there are three circles. One is circling the plasmolemma plasmodium, but at the same time smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The center one is circling the mitochondria with peripheral cristae, and the third one is about the Golgi complex with the vesicle. Okay, then the cytoplasm also shows double layered concentric body attached to the plasmolemma. Remember, and it functions as a mitochondria sometimes. Now there are two double membrane vacuoles present in structureless matrix in the cytoplasm. So vacuoles, as I have told you, vacuoles are also present. The nucleus is large. Overall, if you look at the diagram, a large nucleus is present with the nucleoplasm distinctly shown, and it is made up of granular and fine material. Now membrane, nuclear membrane is double membrane with RNA particles attached. Okay, then nucleosomes or endosomes lies centrally in the nucleus, centrally or sometimes towards the periphery of the nucleus. Then cytoplasm also contains the pinocytes, okay, vacuoles, that serve as food vacuoles. This is also present. Then the trophocyte feeds on the hemoglobin of RBC. Remember, so after intracellular digestion, the residual product hemozoin. So from where hemozoin is coming, hemozoin, these trophocytes are rich in hemozoin. So from where the hemozoin is coming, it is from the RBC. Present in the food vacuoles. Then the trophozoites show a sporozoic mode of nutrition and occurs by osmotrophy. It also shows the anaerobic respiration because it is present in the blood, even though it requires the oxygen, but it is an anaerobic respiration, so it produces both by asexual and sexual methods. So this is about the trophozoite, the adult trophozoite. Okay, now we will talk about the another structure that is called as the sporozoite. This structure is the structure which is actually transferred into the humans from mosquito. So in saliva, where we have talked about how the piercing sucking takes place. So from the saliva itself, it enters into the body. So what enters? Sporozoite enters. Okay. So the life cycle of Plasmodium starts in humans with the injection of thousands of sporozoites along with the saliva in the blood of man during blood sucking by anopheline female mosquito. Now the infective sporozoites do not have a protective covering on the body, remember. So the sporozoites are minute, about 11 to 12 micron in length and 0.5 to 1 micron in width. Okay, so length is more, width is less. That's why, as you can see, elongated structure. So sporozoite is a sickle shaped cell with one oval nucleus. So just look at here, single vesicular nucleus containing nucleolus also, center of the body it is present. So what is the position of nucleus? The center of the body, and there is a single mitochondria and a large number of convoluted vacuoles are also present. So function of it, now it depends exactly what happens initially. So unknown function, Then a micropyle is also present as shown in the figure in sporozoid, and the cytoplasm cytosomes of the protozoan. So in this diagram, as you can see, many things. So the development phase is called as a pre-erythrocytic schizogony. Okay, so then you have a sporozoid body covered with an elastic pellicle. Even though it doesn't have the protective covering, but body is covered by an elastic pellicle. The pellicle has longitudinally arranged throughout the elongated structure. Then there is a pair of elongated secretory organelles open into the apical cap, as you can see. And what is the secrete? The lytic secretion that allows the penetration into the liver cell. So once enter into the body, they go towards the liver cell, and once towards the liver cell, now these organelles secrete lytic secretions or lytic enzymes to enter the liver, and once they enter the liver, then enter the liver, or you can say enter the liver cells, hepatic cells. So infecting the hepatic cells require lytic secretion. Okay, once it enters, then they can proliferate. So this is all about the structure of sporozoid. So remember, first thing, trophozoid, it's a adult or you can say mature structure. So trophozoid, it's a mature adult malarial parasite. Okay, and what is sporozoid? Okay, sporozoid is a stage which infects the humans. Okay, and it is a stage which started the pre-erythrocytic schizogony. Okay, so this is very important. These two stages, remember, in exam they may ask you about draw the ultrastructure of Plasmodium trophozoite, or otherwise draw the ultrastructure of Plasmodium sporozoite and explain. For 5 marks they can ask you, so you should be able to draw and write about it. Okay, so we will stop here. In next in continuation, in next lecture we will start with the actual cycle pre-erythrocytic schizogony, where this sporozoid enters the liver and what happens, that we will see. Thank you.